So final thoughts. Do I recommend the game or no? No, I just don't recommend the game. I'll explain why. First of all, you just need to know that I played only with a sword, but I used the guns for when the game forced me. Like points where there was enemy above me and I had to shoot them to open up a door that was right next to me. So then I pulled out the guns and actually shoot them. Or during boss fights, which are basically the most monotone thing you can do. You gotta shoot glowing points. Endlessly, we'll talk about it in a second, but you gotta do the same thing a million times, so I just used the guns over there to save my sanity. Besides that, only sword. Now let's get on to why I don't recommend you play the game. There's a couple. First of all, the gameplay is extremely repeating, to the point where it's so boring I open up YouTube many times during my playtime just to pass the boredom of doing the same attacks, the same patterns, the same things again and again and again and again. Just waves and waves of enemies going at you, just to kind of makes the game longer. Next point is, I think the story is quite average minus, to be very nice to it. It's shit, okay? It's shit. It's just bad. I'm not gonna get into inconsistencies here because I don't think the game takes itself too seriously, and that's why I didn't give the story a very heavy weight. In this conclusion, I took the gameplay mostly as my point in this game because it seems very much like the story is just there to give you a reason to go between levels, and it's fine. If you treat this way to your story, I'm not gonna like be a hawk and look at, oh, what is this? You said this. Obviously there are points, and I said this during my let's play, but I do think that this game is just, again, the story is just there to be the frame for the entire game, and it's gonna make sense. Some lines here are funny, sometimes they're not really funny and they're kind of cringe, but yeah, I laughed. It's decent. As I said, it's average minus. There's nothing new and interesting here. Again, it's very expected, but it's there. Okay, next, let's talk a little bit about the controls. They're extremely janky. When you try to weave attacks in and queue up skills one after the other, again, I'm using the sword mostly, then the game doesn't respond. It takes like a second after you finish an attack, you finished an animation, to register the next step. And now, because also when using the sword, you gotta double tap W, or you gotta double tap D or S, and then click your mouse key. Then if there is any other input in between there, it could basically mess it up. You gotta be very fast, but also you gotta be very intentional, I guess you would say that. And as I said, later on, as you get used to the combat more, it becomes boring because you get the idea, you get the fight, you get what you need to do, but it becomes extremely boring because the controls just doesn't work, and you gotta get this timing right. You need a break between every movement, so you weave in an attack, then you wait a second, you don't move, then you queue up another attack, and then you move and do the attack basically. And that's what you call turn-based game, and I didn't expect to play a turn-based game in this game. Obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit because it's only like 1 second in between every attack, but it's still very annoying when you try to role play, I guess, as a ninja, or when you try to have fun, like, because the dashes are fantastic. I love these kind of dashes. These dashes are amazing. I want these kind of dashes to be in every hack and slash game. The dashes cancel out everything else you do. So if you made a mistake or you went in too deep, you can do a dash anytime. No matter what attack is going on in the second, you can dash in either direction that you want. You just press the dash key and the arrow key, not the arrow key, sorry, WSD, to where you want to go. This is amazing. I really love this, and I think every game should have this. I have many other games I played before I played this game that don't have this thing, and I really don't like that. Like, the game is forcing you, like holding you into skill. That's also why I don't play Dark Souls and stuff, because until after you finish the animation, only then you can dodge, which is, I don't really like that because it's very slow, and I really like that fast pace. That's why I really enjoy this one. Next is, yes, the game is old, and this shows in the way that enemies, and basically every NPC, have a huge zone of influence around them, which you cannot approach them. And obviously, as the enemies grow larger, so does the zone with the enemy. So it's the same. The big enemy doesn't have the same zone as the small enemies, which means that, for example, when you attack the charges, if you try to just use regular attacks on them, you won't reach them. You gotta use special attacks to actually reach them even if you try to kiss them and you go as close as you can to them, there's just going to be an invisible wall that's not going to let you to do basic attack on them, so you won't be able to do any damage to them, so you gotta use special attacks. And if you do this and you add in a ton more enemies, what you get is basically you getting body blocked a ton of times. Basically, you get body blocked every 2 seconds and you gotta use different attacks, different skills to get away from it. And that's kind of skill, but it's way too huge. The body block, they're like 4 enemies can body block you basically to not be able to move. Even 2 of them if you're like in a corner or there is a wall behind you, it's annoying. My next point is about the boss fight. They're extremely brain dead. All you do, as I said a little bit at the start, is you shoot the glowy points and you evade the big attacks. That's it. You sort of sidestep the big attack, you heal if you need to, and you just continuously shoot the glowing parts until that part is done and you move on to the next one. It's extremely brain dead, and the game is old, yes, and that's how things used to be back then. You just shoot the glowy part until it's done and you move on to the next part. And you can do this fun and it can be fine, but not if every boss is the same. And because the gameplay is so boring, then the boss fights are not really fun. Because boss fights are supposed to be like, I guess you would say, culminations of everything you learned up to this point. It's like a challenge that you're supposed to do, but these are not challenges. As I like to call them, they're loading screens between cutscenes. That's what I love to call them, because that's what they are. I just, once again, put YouTube on the other screen and just play the game and let the game pass, because there's nothing interesting happening on the screen. Now, the game is not completely like shit, crap, don't ever touch this thing ever again. When you manage to get things going with the flow of the game, when you get this 1 second break that you need in between every attack, you can feel these sparks of something fun, but it immediately gets cancelled by everything I said previously. The repeating gameplay, the janky combat, janky controls. Just pick anything from the list I just mentioned, and you just get back to point zero when things are not really fun. But even when you start to learn, it becomes a little bit more fun. Then it's the same skills you use a million times. It's the same enemies you kill a million times. It's the same maps, kind of. The background is a little bit different, but all the assets and everything is exactly the same thing. All the houses, all the everything, whatever you pick. Money barely helps you if you do sword only, because you needed to only upgrade guns. So there's more negatives than positive, in my opinion. I would definitely not recommend you play this game, but if you really want to play this game, suggest you get it on discount. It's definitely not worth the full price, in my opinion. 100%. I'll say it like this. I believe that the game that comes as a joke with the main game is more fun than the actual game. If you don't know, the game comes to you with a parody of like a cleaning simulator, I guess you would call it, when you go around and you clean basically maps that all the bodies were in. So you gotta go and remove all the trash and all the body parts and then clean all the blood. It's like a nice mini game, you would say, but that is quite a bit more fun than actually playing the game itself, which is sad or cool or funny. You decide whatever you feel about this. I kind of felt, as I always do with these kind of games, disappointment, because you want to have fun, you want to do something, you kind of get, I don't want to say baited, because they just presented the project, it just wasn't good, but it kind of feel like you get baited because you saw some things, some here and some there, blah 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 blah. I got it on discount, so I don't feel like extremely bad for buying it, because I got it on like a 95% discount or something like that. I don't remember, like a few days ago there was the discount, but that's kind of my opinion about it. I'm not going to do a review for the game because I feel this final thoughts video is going to be enough and well, more interesting, I guess, to watch, because there's not a lot to say about this game much more than this. I'm not going to go around and show you all the weapons you can use in the game and blah, blah. It's just not, nobody cares. They're not useful. There are weapons, and I guess they're kind of nice to use, but they all mostly feel the same. And when I use them in boss fights, I mean, they all kind of feel the same, and I don't really need them. I don't know. It's just very strange, and I didn't really have fun. That's kind of my opinion on this game. I guess now it's time for me to start playing the second game, which you will have to wait for my opinion about that, because I know you love my opinion so much. You want my opinion, huh? You want it. But that's gonna be it. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for letting me know why so can improve. Besides that, keep safe and keep yourself safe, sorry. And I'll see you on the next one. I can't speak. Bye.